2 against Egypt, and then Mozambique. A 2-2 draw against Egypt and a 2-2 draw against Mozambique. Chris Hughton had, however, taken responsibility for the team's failure to perform at the tournament.
If you're asking me about my performance, I take responsibility for this team. I have a group of players that came here and wanted to do well, wanted to do really well, wanted to compete really well. For the results that we've had in these 3 games, I am the head coach, and I will always take responsibility.
Well, Chris Hughton there accepting responsibility. Let's have a quick listen to some Ghanaians on the sacking of the coach and the performance of the team at the Nations Cup.
Yeah, like we are disgracing ourselves like too much. This thing self-cry, like we not prepare, we for no go the tournament. I did tell you.
This was an easy win. I was very, very confident that at least we'll win this game. And if I look at what Quebec did, this was just a perfect opportunity. At least even 2-1 is okay.
That try that they don't try at all. Because see the ball they play. If like somebody take ball, they take them, you not go attack again. You go back the way they relax. Especially the Jordan self, if they take one, you know, like you not doing anything. Like the team they supposed to change all.
So terrible because the way they play, me I was not having hope because of the two goals. Because looking at how they play, you don't feel it.
I'm very disappointed, very, very disappointed. I feel the Ghanaian players would have done better because it's just so unbelievable. You are the first to get 2 penalties. You've been able to maintain them till 90th minute, and just 6 minutes at a time, they've been able to.
3
it's just amazing.
92.7.
Well, tough one for everyone to take. Well, the Ghana Football Association has promised that they are going to give us a roadmap going forward on how things are going to be done in the next couple of weeks. So, quite a bit disappointing for the senior national team. Now, Executive Council member of the Ghana Football Association, Dr. Randy Abe, has reacted to the Black Stars Calamity's performance at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The Black Stars threw away a 2-goal lead as they drew with Mozambique in 6 minutes. He has, however, promised that a quick recovery for the team would happen very soon.
There's a lot of disappointment, there's a lot of anger, and there's a lot of frustration. But what can we do? We've let everybody down. So we need to pick up the pieces, try and do things differently, and try and make amends. I mean, I think in March, the FIFA free dates are on. And then I think in May, the World Cup qualifiers will start. And then later in the year, I think AFCON 2025 qualifiers will also start. Don't forget that there's AFCON next year in Morocco. So there's a lot. I mean, I've been reading around, and I can understand, the emotions of people. You might consider some overboard and all that, but I think that at this stage, we should just be in a position. The level of disappointment and embarrassment is quite heavy.
Well, the disappointment and embarrassment is quite heavy, according to Executive Council member Dr. Randy Abe. Now let's move on to the Africa Cup of Nations. And Gambia coach Tom Saintfiet has resigned from his position following the country's poor performance at the tournament. Gambia lost all their 3 games in the group stage, despite coming close to a point to seal qualification. In the game against Cameroon, Gambia came from behind to lead 2-1, but an own goal from James Gomez and a late winner from Christopher Wu helped the indomitable Lions to progress. Gambia lost their opening day game 3-0 to Senegal, narrowly losing 1-0 to Guinea in the second game of the group. This is the second time that the coach, Tom Saintfiet, brings them to the Africa Cup of Nations, and he thinks he's done enough, calling it quit at the moment. Now, let's move on to some other results from the African Nations Cup, and Angola are currently through to the last 16 of the Nations Cup as winners of the group winners of the group in the African Nations Cup. They defeated Burkina Faso 2-0 to ensure their qualification. Algeria also shook their opponent to a very strong game, but Mauritania rose high, defeating them 1-0, allowing Burkina Faso to finish second, and also they will lead the northern city of Korogo for the next tie. That is for the Tuesday winners in Group E. It is either going to be Mali, South Africa, or Namibia. We're still waiting for the results, as today brings a host of games that will decide the other countries that will progress to the round of 16. Now, Amir Abdu has written his name in gold at the last two editions of the African Nations Cup. Well, he's a Comorian and a French. He brought Comoros to the 2021 edition in Cameroon, and he has just seen Mauritania qualify to the next stage of the competition, defeating Algeria by 1-0 in Cote d'Ivoire to qualify for the round of 16. Well, this is a very good coach, and I saw his team Comoros defeat Ghana 3-2 in the last African Nations Cup to also qualify for the round of 16. Something great from the coach in there. That is Amir Abdou. He is a French and also a Comorian. Very good coach. Hopefully, as we search for a coach, we may try to get him there. Now, holders Senegal also sailed into the knockout stages of the African Nations Cup with a 100% record after defeating Guinea 2-0 in Yamoussoukro. Abdoulaye Seck headed the opening goal early in the second half, and Iliman Ndiaye added a lead for the informed favorite. Defeat means Guinea, who went into the game knowing they would at least qualify as one of the best third-place teams, must face Group A winners Equatorial Guinea. So that is also something from Senegal. And Cameroon had to score twice, with the time taken away on Tuesday to snatch a dramatic 3-2 win over Gambia, securing the last 16 slot to eliminate Ghana from the tournament. An amazing finish in Boake. Ibrahima Colley scored an 85th minute finish to give Gambia a 2-1 lead, but Christopher Wu won the thriller with a very good header. Cameroon edged Guinea for second place on goals after both collected 4 points. Now, host Ivory Coast, who suffered a stunning 4-0 defeat by Equatorial Guinea on Monday, will survive if Zambia and Tanzania lose their final Group F matches on Wednesday, which is today. So we would wait to see how this will pan out for Cote d'Ivoire, the Elephant. Well, let's stay and talk about issues from the Ghana Black Stars and Ghana football. And season administrator Eric Alagidede, who is currently the general manager for Instructorman Football Club, joins us. Eric, thank you so much. We are in a mess now. How do we resolve this mess? Where do we start from?
Well, Kelvin, I don't even know, because honestly, the problems are just too many. The coach and his technical staff are just a minute part of the problem. If you ask me to maybe quantify it, I'll just put it at 10%. I think the 90% of the problem is the fact that over the years we have failed as a nation to progress in our football development, whilst the likes of Mauritania, and I was just checking something from I think for over 18 years, Mauritania had never won a game before. Then they voted for someone to come in as the FA president, and with their FIFA Gold funds, you can see what they've been able to do. This is the problem with us as a country, because we have so much talent in Ghana. We feel talent alone is enough. But in actual sense, the talent is just 10%. You need to groom it, you need to develop it, you need to nurture the talent, you need to make sure the facilities are available for the talents to be able to be developed and all that. No standard pitch to train on in this country, nothing. I heard the Black Star players were trained, they were complaining when they were driven through the dusty roads to go and train at the Kwame Chase Sports Complex. Did they complain when they were receiving 100,000 just last November? They did not. So this is, Kelvin, in fact, this is the problem. Over the years, when countries are making efforts to try and build facilities, to try and build capacities of administrators, to try and make sure that things that will make the game thrive are on the right track. We are just sitting here relying on talent, and we feel that's it. Just look at the local league. How can the whole federation tell me, a club administrator, that out of the 18 clubs that play in this league, they could pick only 3 players. And those 3 who went to the AFCON, it's not the World Cup, who went to the AFCON, none of them got 1 minute. At a point in time in all the games, 2 goalkeepers were dressed, and Lamptey was undressed. He was sitting and watching the game from the stands. You cannot treat the local league like this and expect to make progress. No, you can't make progress. Sorry, you cannot.
But Eric, now we've dissolved the technical team and hoping for a new technical team to be resolved. This is going to be the 5th coach in 5 years for the Black Stars. Is this always the solution? Where should we pick up the pieces, especially with this football association? You know, because
Kelvin,
day in, day out, we are appointing coaches and we are not successful.
Can't we see that we are just doing a firefighting approach? This is the cycle, and the cycle continues. You've done something continuously for 5 years. It's not giving you results. Aren't you ready to change? Don't you think it's time for you to move away from what you've been doing? Okay, so Kwesi Appiah left. Came in Sika Akono. Came in Milovan Rajevac. Came in Otoado, who decided to go. He was not sacked. Decided to go back and do club football. Came in Krishuti. In 5 years, we have done 5 coaches with serious national teams. Keep recycling coaches every other year. You can't have consistency. You can't have continuity. And it is just not possible to even build a team. Because every other year, there are other World Cup qualifiers, the African Cup qualifiers. Don't forget, next year we have AFCON. We have the World Cup coming up. All these qualifiers will be played between now, from June, all the way till next year. So when are you bringing in a new coach who is going to bring his philosophy? This is national team. It's not club level where he has the opportunity to train with the players every other day. So clearly, it's the same approach we've used. Yes, I have my reservations. I feel Chris Hughton and his technical team are not good enough. Yes, they will go. But beyond their going is what we need to look at. And I think that beyond their going, yes, let's bring in a coach. But from now onwards, we need to do things differently. We need to start allocating World Cup money that we pay to these players and start to use them for developmental projects in this country where we will be able to develop talents and be able to put our football in a proper use. Look, we need to focus more attention on the local league. Kelvin, you remember Nwadibu? It's a club that just qualified for the Champions League some few years ago, I think around the COVID period.
Yes.
They played against Kotoko. It was 0-0. Yes. They came for the second leg. They refused to play because of COVID whatever.
Yes,
Today,
I remember.
Nwadibu is playing in the group stages of the Champions League. These are countries that are serious to do football. Whereas we are still struggling to have our Hearts and Kotoko, who have won the Champions League, we are struggling to get them into the group stages. Something is fundamentally just not right. It is not just about sacking of coaches. We keep repeating this cycle. And it is time we all sit down as stakeholders, agree that there is something fundamentally wrong with our football. What is wrong with our football is that over the years, we have neglected the factors that will allow you to progress as a football nation. No pitches, no proper training programs, no coaching standards, nothing. So we are just relying on raw talent. And this is where we are. We feel we have the players. Yes, we have the players. Player to player for player. Nobody can tell me the Alexander Giroud, the Jordan Ayew, and all the big players we paraded against Mozambique. Nobody can tell me that on the field of play in terms of quality, we are the same. But there is something they do fundamentally right. And that is the fact that the boys are not playing the game for money. I think it is high time we let the Black Stars understand that, look, the kind of money we pay to you guys, yes, it is your job. But in England, in Germany, and all the national teams around the world, they don't pay these huge sums of money. How long has Gareth Southgate been in charge? For so many years.
Yes.
His best has been to get to the final of the Euros.
Yeah.
And he lost it at home.
Yes.
How long has Didier Deschamps been the head coach of France?
For a very long period.
He's been there.
Yes.
We need to understand that the firefighting approach of Les Akin, Onyadie, look, Kwesi Appiah for me is one of the best coaches we have had.
Yeah.
People are questioning it. Kwesi Appiah brought Jordan Ayew.
Yes.
The same man brought Kudus. I remember when Kudus was coming, there was a lot of noise around it.
Yes.
The Kudus came today. He's our savior. When Jordan Ayew was coming, he was barely an unknown boy from nowhere. He has brought us some very acute the later too, his soul rest in peace, was discovered by the same Kwesi Appiah.
Very well.
You need some of these guys, even if you are not leaving him as the head coach, put him as the head of scouting. There is no proper scouting network to monitor our players and know who is doing well and who is not doing well. How does anybody convince me about the abilities of Yeboah Koningsdorfer over any of our local boys? No way.
Not at all. Yeah.
No way.
Eric, finally, before you leave us, many people think that the government has been too laid back in involving herself in all these. And if you look at some of the top performing nations across the world, or less even limited to Africa now, Morocco, even Senegal, Cameroon, government has at least a little bit of interest where they involve themselves in top decision making. Should that be the case? Should the government quickly get involved, and especially with the infrastructure, make sure that monies involved for projects are actually put in the right developmental projects for football development?
Well, Kelvin, I share the same. With you, and I think that once again over the years, all our governments, with the exception of the Champon government, which built a lot of sports infrastructure across the country, many of these stadiums you see across the length and breadth of Ghana were put up by the Champon regime. Except that regime, most of the governments that we've had have failed to do the basic things. You see, when you get to places like Egypt, you lodge into a very plush hotel, and there's a football field in the hotel. This is a deliberate attempt by the people to develop football. Look, football thrives on good pitches. Let no one lie to you. When people don't know, you think Mali, Mauritania, and the likes, they didn't know how to play football 30 years ago. Niger, 20 years ago, they didn't know how to play football. They started with infrastructure. Once there is infrastructure, there is a willingness for people to get into the game. They develop interest in it automatically, and then they start to learn. It's a learning game. Watch the white people. The talent is not enough in just some few European countries. The rest of them are being taught how to play football. And once you teach somebody, the tendency for the person to know how to do the thing is very high. So we need to get back to the basics, and government needs to understand that it is their core responsibility to provide sporting facilities for the people. And that is why some of us get angry when we see the stadium being turned into a performance ground, and then clubs would have to relocate and go and look for places and all that. Assuming Kotoko has decided to put up their own stadium, and it, no matter how small it is, what becomes of Kumasi and Accra? Nothing. You cannot play concerts throughout the year.
Yeah,
these are things we expect the government to do, irrespective of whichever government is there. We think that government needs to get involved. All these World Cup monies that came, let us agree and have a proper strategic plan in place that, look, we got 8 million. Granted, when we do all the deductions, it's now 5 million. Let's put this $5 million into either Pram or into Winneba. Let's find a land somewhere, allocate it, and make it a training center purposely for all national teams, including the Black Stars. It is there in Serbia. The Malians have just completed one. They will no longer go to training camp anywhere. They train in Mali, in Bamako. Why can't we do same? Are the Malians' economy better than the economy of Ghana? Nobody can convince me. It is just the willingness to do it. And I think that all the politicians and all the technocrats around the ministry, everybody is excited about the Black Stars, because when they get around the team, everybody in one way or the other gets something to go home with. This is the problem. Until we stop that attitude and face the reality to know that, look, where we are now, it's a turning point, and we need to do things right. Galaxies, they exited the tournament somewhere last year.
Yeah.
So they are still old monies. Black Queens, they are old monies. But these Black Star players playing this nonsense, excuse my language, they were willing to pay them 30,000 once they progress to the next stage of the competition. Put 5 players' money together, it can pay the entire Galaxies team. Why do we do this? These are the developmental stages of our game. 17, 20, 23 before the Black Stars.
Yeah.
They are all neglected. Nobody cares. No one cares when it's about the Black Stars. And it is the reason why, Kelvin, our league is struggling, because when I raise up a player in Swatema, and he knows that he has no chance whatsoever of playing in any of the national teams, the best thing he can do is, once there is an offer to a third-tier club in Spain, he's willing to go.
Yeah.
because he hopes he progresses from there and probably join one of the smaller clubs, mid-table teams in La Liga or Segunda 2. And from there, he hopes to catch the attention of the national handlers.
All right. Thank you so much, and really appreciate your time this morning. Hopefully, some of these, thoughts are picked up by the Football Association and the government to make sure our football gets better.
All right, Kelvin, we can only hope for the best.
Hoping for the best. That is Eric Alakidede. He is the general manager for Instructorman Football Club. He's currently part of a team that has been set up by the Football Association to bring up the next crop of talent that can feed into the various national teams. Hopefully, things get better. Now, still staying on the African Nations Cup. There are matches coming up at 5 p.m. South Africa play against Tunisia. There is also Namibia against Mali. So these are the two games that will be coming up. Very, very two top games coming up. And you look at the standings for that particular group. For South Africa's group, that is Group E. And Mali set top with 4 points. South Africa with 3 points. Namibia with 3 points. And Tunisia with just a point. So the group is quite open. Any of the teams can qualify and any could drop out after today's matches. Now let's look at Group F, and Zambia will play against Morocco at 8 p.m. Same time, there is Tanzania against the Democratic Republic of Congo. Morocco have 4 points, DR Congo have 2 points, Zambia have 2 points, and Tanzania also have a point. That group is also wide open, and any of the nations there could possibly qualify and progress to the next stage of the African Nations Cup. So the AFCON getting, much more exciting, stronger. But don't forget the round of 16, some games have been settled, but let's take a look at how things would probably pan out. On Saturday at 5 p.m., Angola will be meeting the best third of either Group B, Group E, or Group F. And then at 8 p.m., there is Nigeria, Cameroon. Looks like the biggest fixture for the round of 16. On Sunday, Equatorial Guinea play against Guinea at 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., Egypt will wait for the runner-up of Group F. And then on Monday, on the 29th of January, there is Cape Verde against Mauritania at 5 p.m. and Senegal waiting for the best third of Group A, B, or F. And on Tuesday, the Group E winner will get to know by close of 5 p.m. will play against Burkina Faso, and then Group F winner would wait for the Group E runner-up. So that is how the path is going to be like for the round of 16. Now to England, and in the Carabao Cup, Chelsea stormed into the League Cup final with a 6-1 thrashing of second-tier Middlesbrough to easily overturn a first leg 1-0 deficit at the Stamford Bridge. The Blues struck 4 times before half-time as Johnny Howson's own goal, Enzo Fernandez, Axel Disasi and Cole Palmer put Mauricio Pochettino's men on the road to Wembley next month. Palmer and Noni Madueke piled up the pain on Middlesbrough in the closing stages on a night that could prove the turning point in Pochettino's early reign in charge. Cole Palmer and Axel Disasi after the game.
Yeah, I missed 3 sets in the first game, so it was always in the back of my mind coming into this game, but to score 2 and obviously go through to Wembley, the most important thing, so we're happy.
As I say, after the first game we was all hungry, and the coach said that we have to push, to play hard, and he put me on the right back, and I tried to do my best. I helped the team, and I feel free on my side, and that's it. I hope we will keep this, because we have to keep this mentality in championship also to win more games. And I think we are on the good way. We have to stay focused. Now we have another game Friday, so we have to rest to stay focused and to keep this mentality.
Axel Disasi there, but today Liverpool play against Fulham. Marco Silva says his Fulham side are fully focused on the semi-final against Liverpool and hope to win.
Our focus really is in the next one, and it's going to be so important for us. We are talking about a semi-final, a chance to play a final at Wembley that we are not thinking. Normally don't plan to the next 2 or 3 games. Our focus is being always like that. Since I joined the football club, the next one is always the most important one, and of course, you have to be honest, is really the most important one. And after that come the FA Cup match and the Premier League match as well against Newcastle first, and after against Everton. But the schedule is there. It's going to be really tough with the Sense in African Cup. With our squad is really short in terms of numbers, as you know. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but is what it is. Now full focus in our game against Liverpool.
So that is from Marco Silva. But Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has a proper tear in his hamstring. The 31-year-old was replaced during Egypt's 2-2 draw with Ghana in the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire on Thursday. He watched from the stands as Egypt progressed to the last 16 after a 2-2 draw with Cape Verde on Monday. Pep Linares has spoken on Salah's return to the club for rehab after sustaining that injury that could possibly take him to 4 weeks out.
Let me first say, the one, you should never doubt the commitment of Mo Salah. I never met a guy, a player, but also a human being who's more committed to the life of being a professional football player. And I know the country is devastated losing him. We were devastated to hear that he got injured. He plays the first game, scores, assists, captain, massive importance, of course. But the only reason why our medical team and their medical team decided for him to come back is to give him the best possible chance to be available in the final, if Egypt reaches the final.
So Salah may return if Egypt are able to reach the final of the competition. Now, West Ham United have agreed a deal with Manchester City to sign midfielder Calvin Phillips on loan for the rest of the season. The 28-year-old signed a 6-year contract when he arrived at the Citizens from Leeds United in a £45 million deal in July 2022. Phillips, who is also interested in Juventus, now appears to have a medical in London later this week. Personal terms are not expected to be a problem, with the Hammers set to cover Phillips' salary, and there will be an option to make the deal permanent in the summer. Now, Newcastle United midfielder Joe Linton won't miss the rest of the season after undergoing thigh surgery. The club have confirmed the Brazil international was forced off during the Magpies FA Cup victory over rivals Sunderland on January 6. Manager Eddie Howe had previously suggested the 27-year-old could be out for around 6 weeks, but the decision to operate now means the player will be sidelined until at least May. And also, Brazil defender Eder Militao has signed a contract extension with Real Madrid that will keep him at the club until 2028. The 26-year-old is currently recovering from a long-term anterior cruciate ligament knee injury suffered during the opening match of the La Liga season on the 12th of August. The centre-back joined Madrid from Porto in 2019 and has made 143 appearances, scoring 11 goals. Later this evening, Real Mallorca play against Girona in the Spanish Copa del Rey, and Athletic Bilbao play against Barcelona in the German Bundesliga. Bayern Munich and Union Berlin would have their postponed game in December due to heavy snow in other Allianz Arena and today. Now to the Australian Open, and Novak Djokovic continued his bid for a record-extending 11th Australian Open title with a confident win over American 12 seed Taylor Fritz. He won 7-6, 4-6, 6-2, 6-3 in hot conditions to reach the semi-finals. Now 33 consecutive wins in Melbourne means that Djokovic has completed a record with childhood idol Monica Seles. He spoke after his win.
It means a lot. I didn't know that I'm sharing this achievement, this record with her. So it makes it, of course, even more special for me because I really love Monica. I had Monica in my head growing up in Serbia pretty much every single day because Jelena Gemčić, my tennis mother, as I like to call her, that she passed away in 2012, worked with Monica when she was young. And yeah, I know that she had an incredible career, and particularly she played well in Australia. We all wonder how far she could have went if she didn't have to go through what she went through. So Monica, I have only nice words to say about her. So I'm really glad that we're sharing.
Well, very glad. He's expected to play on Friday against Italian 4th seed Jannik Sinner, who defeated Russian 5th seed Andrei Rublev. Sinner beat Rublev 6-4, 7-6, 6-3. Jannik Sinner already has his preparations sorted for the semi-final clash against Djokovic on Friday.
A little hit. Let's see how I feel tomorrow. If not, I can take a complete day off, and after tomorrow I hit for a little bit, and then hopefully I'm ready for a tough match. It's going to be a really tough one, but I'm looking forward to play against Novak. It's obviously going to be really tough, but I will try my best, and then we'll see what the outcome is. If I would be still here to talk to you, it means that I won also in 5, so it's okay. Until you win, it's all fine. But no, at the end of the day, playing in such a big court is obviously really, really nice, and always a huge pleasure there. There have been still a crowd, which is an awesome effort, and so let's see for the next match.
The next match is on Friday against Novak Djokovic. Now defending champion Aryna Sabalenka has also set up a tantalizing Australian Open semi-final against American teenager Coco Gauff after overpowering Barbora Krejcikova in a straight-set victory, 6-2, 6-3 win for her. Coco Gauff, who is 19, had to scrap past Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk in 3 sets in Melbourne, 7-6, 6-7, 6-2. She managed to win. So Aryna Sabalenka also setting up another big date. Now, let's finish off with some results from today. And Hubert Hurkacz has been defeated by Daniil Medvedev 7-6, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5, 4-6 in the quarterfinals. It means Medvedev would have to wait for the winner of Alexander Zverev and Carlos Alcaraz, who are playing at 9:45 in the women's singles. Diana Yastremska defeated Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4, and she's going to wait for Anna Kalinskaya or Qinan Zheng of China. They play at 8:15. That'll be all for sports this morning. My name is Kelvin Owusu Ansah. Sunrise continues. Stay tuned. DJ Abiam is here to serve you with some fine tunes. Helen Apiampo from the rest of the team would continue to serve you sweet breakfast. Stay tuned. I'm out of here. My name is Kelvin Owusu Ansah. Have a good day.